Hey there, math students. Today we're still talking about rational numbers, but instead of one-step equations, we're going to be doing two-step equations. Okay, so there's no notes page today, so I'm going to be using problems from your assignment as this video. The numbers we're going to go over are numbers 2, 3, 5. Take note that you don't have to do 7 through 10, okay? Those are X'd out. So we're going to go over 2, 3, and 5. Number 11 and number 16. Also, 17 through 20 you don't have to do. Okay, so I actually want to start with number 11 because it's just integers. It makes it a little simpler and it's a good review for two-step equations. So for your two-step equations, you know that you're going to need to get that variable by itself. In this case, that's the n. So that means you have to get rid of the 9 and you have to get rid of the minus 5. The question is always, which one are you going to get rid of first? So you see how the 5 is right here next to the n? They're like tied together. They're being multiplied to each other. So they're right next together. That's the number you want to get rid of last. So first, we're going to get rid of this number that's farther away, separated by the minus sign, right? So we're going to get rid of this 9 first. How are we going to get rid of it? We are going to subtract it. Why are we subtracting it? Because 9 and negative 5n or minus 5n are being either added or subtracted together, right? So you know you need to use either addition or subtraction to get rid of the 9. In this case, you have a positive 9, so to get rid of it, you want to do minus 9. Okay, because that will make it go to 0, and so we like to say they just cancel out. Let's not forget what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side, so I'm going to write a minus 9 here also. Let's go ahead and do the math on that. Negative 20 minus 9 is going to give us a negative 29, and that's going to equal negative 5n. Okay, so now to get the n by itself, we got to get rid of the negative 5. To get rid of this number in front of the variable, we just have to divide by it. So divide that by negative 5 on both sides. Here it's going to cancel out because negative 5 divided by negative 5 is just a 1. And 1n is the same thing as n. So we're just going to have n over here. But over here on the left, we're going to be left with a fraction. We do need to simplify a little bit. The only thing we can do is get rid of those negatives because we know that a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I'm just going to rewrite this as a positive 29 over 5. But beyond that, we can't really simplify anymore. Now, if you had written, what would it be, 5 and 4/5, that is the same thing as this. It's just the mixed number version. But I like improper fractions, and if you put it like this, then, I mean, that's the way I do it too. But this would not be wrong. Okay? Let's go to our next example, which is going to be number 2. So this one, let's see, we just wrote it as a fraction because that seems the most convenient. I forgot to say that you could put it as a decimal if you wanted to do 29 divided by 5. Let me show you my screen here. 29 divided by 5. I got lazy and left off my negatives just now because I knew the answer would be positive. Always a good idea to put the negatives in the calculator though, just in case, or at least think it through. So another version of the answer would be 5.8 or 5.8. All right, so 3 versions of the answer there, and they're all valid. Now looking back at number 2, we have k over 8 plus 1/2 equals 7/4. Now this one is with fractions, as you can see, and when they give you a problem in fractions, your answer should be in fractions also. If they give you a problem in decimals, then it's fine to put your answer in decimals. So whatever they give you, your answer should be in the same form. Let's go ahead and solve this. So we have k over 8. That's the same thing as k divided by 8, right? Plus 1/2 equals 7/4. So you need this k by itself. Are you going to get rid of the 8 first or get rid of the 1/2 first? You're going to get rid of that 1/2 first because it's kind of separated by that plus sign. It's not attached to the k. How are we going to get rid of it? We're going to subtract it because right now it's being added to the k over 8. So subtract 1/2 from both sides. This is going to just cancel out to 0, and you're going to be left with k over 8 equals, and now you can choose to do it by hand or use your calculator. I'm going to do it by hand because it doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to say 7 over 4 minus 2 over 4 because I know that 2 over 4 is the same thing as 1/2. and that's going to equal 5 over 4. So that's our answer, not our answer, but that's what we're going to put on the right-hand side. Now we still need that k by itself. So to get it by itself, we need to get rid of the 8, which means we have to think about how to do that. So if k is being divided by 8, we need to do the opposite, which is multiply by 8. So let's do times 8 on both sides. I'm going to just kind of scribble that out so that it's not in my way. I don't want everything to get jumbled together. These 8's will cancel, and you're left with k is equal to whatever this is equal to. When you're multiplying fractions, you need to have a denominator, but any whole number you can just put over 1. So if you had like a regular old 8, that's the same thing as 8 over 1. If you had 5, that'd be the same thing as 5 over 1. So we put the 8 over the 1, and now we just multiply across. 5 times 8 is 40, and 4 times 1 is 4. And I believe that is going to simplify quite a bit more, and we're just going to get 10. Because 40 divided by 4 is 10. Okay, so your answer there is k equals 10. So I guess you don't have to write it in a fraction after all. If you wrote 10 over 1, that would be perfectly correct. But make sure you don't leave it as this, because that's not fully simplified. You do want to simplify. Let's go ahead to number 3. All right, so number 3 has decimals, which means we can write our answer in decimals. I can't talk today. I can't talk most days. So we have an r here. That's what we want to keep on this side. We need to get rid of the 1.3 and the minus 5. Which one do we get rid of first? If you said 1.3, you are correct because it is separated farther away from that r. So let's get rid of it by subtracting it. Right now we have a positive 1.3. We want to get rid of it by doing a negative 1.3. That's going to just equal 0, so I'm going to cross it out, and we subtract the 1.3 from the other side as well. Now we're left with negative 5r equals 4 minus 3 is 1, 7 minus 1 is 6. So negative 5r equals 6.1. Now we have to get rid of that negative 5 in front of the r. Right now it's multiplying, so we're going to get rid of it by dividing. Make sure you put the negative and the 5 down there in the division. Divide both sides by negative 5. You're going to be left with r equals negative, well, let's figure out on our calculator. I was going to say 6.1 over 5, but you know what? This problem is in decimals, so let's just give it a nice decimal. You don't really want to have a decimal in a fraction, although you might see it sometimes. It's better just to give a nice clean decimal here. So let's do that. 6.1 divided by negative 5 is going to be negative 1.22. And there's your answer there. All right, let's look at number 5. Okay, so number 5, I don't want to solve all the way. I just kind of want to talk about the order that we're going to do things in here. So we have negative 0.25 equals negative 3.2 plus a over 1.4. The question is, you're trying to get a by itself, right? What are you going to get rid of first? Is it the negative 3.2 or the 1.4? You want to get rid of the one that's further away, not the one that's attached to the variable. This 1.4 is kind of attached to the variable, right? The negative 3.2 is further away, so make sure you get rid of this guy first. And then you can get rid of the 1.4. Now that's similar but different to the other one I wanted to show you, which was number 16. I don't know if I can kind of, if I get creative, I can fit them both on the screen at the same time. I reversed our order there so they would fit. So here's the one I was just talking about, right? Where you get rid of the 3.2 first. Now this one is a little bit different. See, we have lots of stuff in the numerator and just one number in the denominator. Over here it's separated. You have a number plus then just a simple numerator denominator. But here, like, we've got a plus sign and some addition going on basically in the numerator. So it's going to be different. Let me read it. It's negative 6 plus x over 2.5 equals 3.4. So, you have to get the x by itself. Which numbers are you going to get rid of first? The negative 6 or the 2.5? In this case, you can't mess with any of these top numbers until it's not a fraction anymore. You need to get rid of the denominator. So the answer is you get rid of that 2.5 first. And you're going to get rid of it by doing the opposite. So right now we are dividing by 2.5. So you're going to get rid of it by multiplying by 2.5 on both sides. And then after you're done with that, you can get rid of the -6. I'm not going to solve this problem all the way for you because I want you to have something left to do, but I will show you another example that's extremely similar to number 16, which is number 8. I kind of crossed it out before I thought of this, but you can still see what's there. So let's talk through it. R plus 4.2 all over 3 equals -2.5. Okay, what are we going to get rid of first? The 4.2 or the 3? Think about it. And if you want to try to solve this problem on your own, go ahead and hit pause now, and then you can compare with me in a second. So the answer to what to get rid of first is the 3. We need to get the 3 out of the denominator before we can mess with anything in the top. So let's multiply by 3 on both sides. And we're going to be left with R plus 4.2 equals -7.5. Now we just have to get rid of that 4.2. Minus 4.2 minus 4.2. R equals, okay, let me just, well, I don't really need a calculator because all I have to do is add these together and then keep the negative sign. So 5 plus 2 is 7. And then 7 plus 4 is 11. So R is going to equal -11.7. Did you get that? If you did, awesome work. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching.